Huh.
Watching Kyle's unboxing videos again?
Yeah, he always finds the coolest... No way! A robot dog? Gotta ask where he got it.
Or use your Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Just draw a circle around the dog on your screen, and it shows you where to buy it right in the app.
Whoa, I just learned a new trick. And that for once, I beat Kyle to the next big thing.
Circle it, find it with the new Galaxy S24 Ultra and circle the search with Google. Get yours now at Samsung.com. Internet connection required. Results may vary based on visuals.
Barenaked, 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 ABCs.
Welcome to the Barenaked ABCs, where we discuss every song from 7 to Y, no matter who is in the presidential office at the time. I mean, like, left, right, center, everyone rules, and, you know, not everyone rules from a place of love, and, you know, according to Tears for Fears, everybody wants to rule the world.
It's true. They do.
But not wanting to rule the world, but wanting to give their opinions tonight, I have with me Aaron, Heidi, and Stefan. Welcome.
Hello,
Welcome.
hello.
I kind of do want to rule the world.
Hello, everybody. I'm all about the love. All about the love.
Stefan, would you rule the world with love?
Definitely not.
I'm all about the
man.
love.
I support Thanos. You know, I would.
Wow, okay. So you would rule
would
the
knock
world
off-
with a secret list.
You know, half of those people would be gone.
And an iron fist.
Yeah. Or a golden...
He would
Stone
rule us
fist.
till we don't exist. He literally
Yeah, well,
just said
exactly,
it.
yeah. He'll rule you until half of you don't exist.
What about you, Betsy? We have joining us tonight, Betsy.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Good.
I think I'd rather rule the world with a secret lisp instead of a secret list. Just keep it under wraps.
I think we're going to be talking about the Illuminati tonight with this secret
Ooh.
list thing.
Illuminati
Ah.
confirmed.
You mean the Illuminati
Ooh.
from Doctor Strange?
Yes, that Illuminati.
No, the Weird Al version.
That's okay. I'm wearing my
Aluminum
tinfoil
foil.
hat. I'm wearing
Oh.
my tinfoil hat, so I'm
Nice.
good to go.
If you haven't picked up on it, tonight we are discussing the song Rule the World with Love.
Wouldn't happen to a better man. It wouldn't happen with a better plan. While we were napping, someone else began to rule the world with love.
Which is from the... Oh, wait. No, I almost gave it away.
Oh, don't do
Aaron,
that.
What
Okay.
album is this song on?
Well, we know it's pre-schism because we're blessed by Stephen's golden vocal cords. It's too slickly produced to be too early. Around Maroon, I could possibly conceive of this, but I think it's later than that. I'm
It could
pretty
be
sure.
inconceivable.
Inconceivable. I'm pretty sure it's from the Blame era, so I think I got a 50-50 shot at this. So I'm going to say Barenaked Ladies are men?
No.
Oh, it's
But-
me.
But it's a double album, so I'll
That's
give
such
you
a hard.
it.
That's like, is that song off of Load or Reload by Metallica?
Exactly. It is off from Me, which is one of my comments. Like, I thought for sure when I was writing the notes this week, I was going to be writing down Blammin', because I was like, I would have thought this song was definitely on the second album, not the first album. But this song was actually one of the first ones written and recorded for this album.
Oh, wow.
It was actually
Wow.
recorded in the spring 2005 record session, which is
That answers one of my questions.
one of the few albums that was actually recorded at that time, or one of the few songs that was recorded at that time.
So they wanted to start off with a polka kind of thing. Sounds like a polka. You know?
Polka.
Bump,
Chorus.
bump, bump.
I mean, perhaps your definition of polka and mine vary greatly. I'm not sure.
Oh, all right.
I'm not here.
Hey, for me, anything with an accordion is a polka.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Now, would you give this credit to Steven, or would you give this credit to Ed?
Stephen,
What, the
100%.
Yeah.
The accordion's definitely Ed.
Now, The
Even
official liner notes say Paige Robertson, but everything
Yeah,
on
but
this
come on, that's
what-
like Lennon McCartney.
exactly on this double album, everything that's not specifically like Hearn or Cregan is a combination of Paige
Paige
Robertson.
Robertson. Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's pretty telling. Steve has played it 8 times on Live from Home. B&L covered it 7 times, never without Steven.
Yeah, that's
By the way, Heidi, you're muted. I don't know if you realize it.
Yeah, I know. I've got a dog that we're babysitting, and she keeps making noise.
Okay.
She's afraid to go on the floors, so I've had to line my hallway with blankets because she won't walk on the wood floors. So
I've never had you be quiet this long. That's why I was like, "What? Wait."
I know. I just didn't want like a whining, barking thing to happen.
Before we get into the breakdown of the music on this song, I do want to point out
this was so hard.
Something interesting about this song, and it might help you guys out a little bit. This is one of the songs that was part of the re-edit contest that they had, where you were allowed to remix the music as you wanted to, and they were possibly going to release it. It never ended up happening, but I have all 11 tracks that we'll be going through tonight, splicing them down and breaking them out, because I think it's actually really neat to hear the separate tracks. There's some really cool stuff going on in this song.
I think that's too many.
But before we get there, Aaron and Heidi, will you break it down?
Break it down. Okay, let's see what happens, Aaron.
So yeah, let's break it down. The reason I'm laughing, you'll see the reason I'm laughing, Sam. The tempo is right about 133 beats per minute.
That's what I have.
You don't know for sure?
I mean, it sounds like electronic drums, but maybe I just couldn't get it lined up perfectly. It did seem like it was rushing and dragging. So it might be Tyler playing pads or playing like electric drums. It's in the key of E. Let's say E major for now, with liberal use of borrowed chords and passing chords. And we'll get into that a little bit later. So the intro is simple enough. You could write this a couple different ways for passing chords and stuff, but I just said E to B. So our 1 to 5 back and forth bouncing. And then we go to the verse. E to F diminished, which diatonically in the key of E major, there should be for your 2 chord an F sharp minor. So already we have some intrigue. It's not only not a minor chord, it's a diminished chord, but it's not F sharp, it's F. Which that kind of threw me for a loop. That was interesting. But it gives you a kind of a nice chromatically rising going up effect, elevation. And then we go to F sharp minor, which is the actual diatonic 2, and then to B major, which is your 5, and then back to E, your tonic.
E. Yeah, that's what I have too.
Okay. So far, lockstep with me and Heidi here.
Yep.
Chorus. Now, remember how I said we're going to call this E major? This is why I said that, because
but it goes into E minor.
Definitely E minor without a doubt. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. That's what I have. So E minor to A to D to F sharp, which is more or less like 1 minor to our 4 to major 7th, which is actually diatonic, because if we're an E minor, the 7th degree is a happy major instead of a diminished triad. The bridge. This is a very intricate song. There's a lot of work that went into this. The bridge is C sharp minor to A to F sharp to B to E. So we have 6, 4, 2, 5 back to the tonic. Always back to the tonic. It occurred to me that I could make a great nerdcore rap song about music theory, Heidi. You know how rappers are always talking about the chronic?
Yes,
well,
the tonic.
Nerds, we always hit the tonic.
That's amazing.
That hurt me just saying it.
Amazing. No, make that happen.
So the structure of the song, and let me know here if this is what you got, Heidi, because you could maybe break it down differently. But I put intro as kind of an I, like non-listed section, because this is basically just bouncing back and forth between 1 to 5. And verse 1 for A section, A changes. Verse 2 for A changes.
Yeah.
Chorus, which is your B changes. Verse 3A, verse 4A. Bridge C
Yep.
chorus B. And now after this, we hammer hard on the B, the fifth, so we can swing back to the verse changes over the piano solo. By the way, Kevin, nice solo, very tasteful. Kevin, come on the show. We know you listen. We'd love to talk to you about your tasteful solos.
Those tasty solos.
They are tasty. Like, this is very, he has a lot of like jazz influence in this, and it's really shows. It's very, very nice. So we have solo, which is our A changes over the verse. Verse 5, which is our A. Bridge again. Frodo, do you think they know about second bridge? We have our C section again. Chorus B. So then we end on the B, which is not the tonic. You know, you don't always need to resolve to the tonic. Ending on the fifth can have a very uplifting, like triumphant sound to it, which I kind of feel like it does at the end of this song. So we have A, B, A, C, B, B, A, C, B, B, or abab, which is the song. That's the sound that my brain made when I tried to analyze this song.
Exactly what mine did too. That's so weird. It was so complicated. Why does it have to be so complicated?
Yeah. Now, so let's talk about like the sound of this song. Like the instrumentation is really lush. You get that nice Spectre era Beatles wall of sound. Kevin is tickling the ivories very prettily, not just in the solo, but throughout the piece. Great vocals, beautiful harmonies. Although I'm wondering, any of you, did you catch this? The harmonies sounded kind of vocoder-y to me. There was like a digital synthy quality to them, which is done often in power pop, like stuff like actually, I don't want to say it because now that I think about it, I don't think Jellyfish did that. I think that was just Andy being like super ridiculously like computer accurate with his vocals. But I don't want to say like auto-tune, but it sounded almost like a vocoder. There was a little synth quality to, or maybe it just happened to be that Kevin was playing a synth pad that kind of was in the same range of the human voice.
Let me do this then.
We have a ruling here, Judge Tracy.
Let me do this, and you can give me the ruling.
Okay.
Because I'm not a master at this. You know, I never would admit to it. But I know you guys are, and I can here is the backing vocal all by itself.
Whoa.
Nice.
It's not even my birthday.
Yeah, I know. This is great.
Hold on. It's going to take a second for my computer to catch up with us.
Hearts are one, empires fall in love with love. Love will conquer all for one. One for all is fair in love and war.
So to me, it just sounds like layered voices.
That's awesome. Like, oh
wow.
man,
That is so cool.
So cool to be able to hear that.
Yeah.
I think
so
Heidi,
cool.
Heidi, do you think there's like
layered.
you think there's a slight phasing or effect on that?
I think so. It sounds there's something.
It's their real voices. Never that I was thinking it was like robot voices or whatever, but I was wondering it had that kind of otherworldly sound too.
Yeah, very minery.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Those are great.
It's
Very tight, close vocal harmonies. Like very impressive.
And what I think is really kind of cool is that Steven actually puts himself in there as well. So instead of like being like, Ed, why don't you take this part? He's like, no, it'll be me and Jim and Kevin.
I'm sure there was probably something to that.
I think it had to do with like the resonance.
Could be the range and the way they blend, yeah.
Right. I think that's what he was going for. But I think it's really interesting that instead of having Ed sing the background on that, this is the last album.
Well, I was thinking about Ringo walking out and Paul doing his drums on Dear Prudence.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But yeah, okay, so that's one. Thank you for that, Tracy. I wasn't even thinking about that you had those tracks. So that's really cool to be able to hear that.
That is so cool to be able to hear that.
Oh, I'm going to be breaking down a lot of the tracks on here because there's some
where
cool stuff.
You can, you hear all of the separate parts. Like you can just take out the bass line and stuff. Those are sick.
Someone did that on Billie Jean by Michael Jackson, and it was incredible to hear all the layers and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Super, super well produced. So I'm going to tip my hand a little bit here. I really like this song. You might think, oh, Aaron's too dark and edgy for a nice, happy song with a nice, happy little title, like Rule the World with Love. But let me assure you, first of all, I do love hippie music. Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule, great song. If it feels sincere and it's well done, I can dig it, and I dig this song. Oh, and also, as I transition us to open up to talking lyrics, it might sound happy, but the lyrics get pretty, 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 pretty dark.
Yeah, they do.
Well, let's keep talking about the music because I have a lot of really rare, but I have a lot of notes.
I'm very curious to hear all the different parts here because I can hear, I think, like digital strings and obviously the piano and guitars, layers upon layers of vocal harmonies.
No digital strings.
Oh, they're real strings?
Actual strings. Those are real strings. So Jim actually not only did the string arrangements on the song, Jim did all the strings on the song.
Great job, Jim. Gorgeous work.
Jim did an electric bass, but he also did a viola, a violin, and a cello.
So he was a full quartet. He was a full string quartet. That's amazing.
That is amazing.
It is. Matter of fact, why don't while we're talking
hear those strings
about that,
isolated.
Bring up those strings, because in breaking this part down while I'm waiting for it to actually come up, because it may take a minute, when you get to the strings part, it's actually split apart into two separate parts where I want to say it's the viola. No, it's the cello. And then the viola and the violin are together.
Viola is a person.
Right. Viola Davis, viola instrument. It's like bass, bass.
Viola. I told you I am not musically
That's what you have us for.
That's right. You guys get to correct me on all of my mispronunciations.
Tracy lets us up out of the basement.
We enjoy that.
Yeah, we get to see the sun for an hour if we correctly analyze a song.
All right, I got the strings up. It's just waiting for it to catch up with me at this point. So I apologize for how long this is taking. So it adds this really, really sad piece to the background.
It's fascinating to me because listening to it isolated, you can tell 100% that it's a real string instrument.
Oh, absolutely.
The quality of digital string pads and stuff has gotten so much better, but in the attack and decay, like you can hear it when it first starts and first stops. There's no comparison to the little tiny differences you get in the little, like you just know immediately it's definitely human produced. Yeah.
Now I've separated it out on here, left versus right. Okay. I actually just split it up, but it was one master track. But I split it so I could easily split apart. So whatever that was, I want to say that was a cello. Am I correct?
No, that first that was definitely a violin. That was very high.
Okay, yeah. That was the violin. Okay, so the next piece I want to say is the viola and the cello mixed together. Which was on the right ear track. So I'm going to separate out just that part because the violin continues doing a similar piece throughout the chorus, but the other two does something completely different, which is this piece here.
Oh man,
sounds like Upside Down.
I mean, that could have been from Eleanor Rigby. You know what I mean? Like that was.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have to bump my score up again.
Like the strings in this song are phenomenal. So Jim, gorgeous is the way to put it. Like And so this week when I was actually, I have the note lower on my thing here, but when I was actually, because one of the things that you were allowed to do with this remix contest was actually remix it the way you wanted to. I found in playing around with it that I really enjoyed making my own version.
It's fun,
of this.
right? I like mixing, yeah.
But I also found that some balances that when I liked it, it unbalanced a whole other part of the
you,
song.
My friend, you just encountered my nightmare as an engineer. Especially when you're mixing for a band and the guitarist is like, hey, can you turn me up? And then you do that, and then suddenly the vocalist can't be heard, and then you boost them up, and now you lost the bass in the mix. It's just, it's not enough butter scraped across too much toast.
Well, and that's what I found was like, I really liked it when I made it like I put the guitars and drums kind of in the background. I pushed them back a little bit more, and I made that bass really, really front. And I made the piano really front, so it almost had a sadder sound. But the problem was, as soon as I hit the chorus, because there were those sad sounds with the strings, I almost had to take the bass out completely because they were taking that
especially with
with
the cello, and it really gets down low. That's going to have a lot of crossover.
Yeah.
I want to hear your mix, Tracy, and I would like the rest of you to mix one. I would like to hear all of our personal mixes. I think that'd be really fascinating.
That would be really cool for everyone to kind of do. I would love to do that. But I will admit, like, I am not good at it. Like, because when I did it, the problem that came up was that it felt empty when it got to the chorus. Like there was
now imagine
missing.
You had to submit that for a grade.
Oh my gosh, I would be so horrified.
I can't hear the snare drum.
Something felt wrong every time I hit the chorus. I'm like, no, it's too bassy. It's too bassy. What do I need to mix in here? I can't do it. Ah!
Wait, it's Count Basie. That's weird.
It's Count Basie.
And it drove me nuts to the point that I deleted all my work. So maybe by the end of the podcast, I'll remix it.
Yeah,
but I deleted.
I would love to hear what you come up with. You could add it to the podcast. Give people a listen.
I do want to put in like some interesting other parts that were in.
See, this is why we need a
well.
Patreon. We could have mixes.
Yes.
We could give some
content.
patrons.
We could have so much more room for activities.
Steven's guitar doesn't do much in this song. It's pretty basic.
He's just
kind of driving.
He's drinking a pumpkin spice latte.
What was it that the kids were scoot, whatever it was?
He's just kind of driving the song.
Again, Beatles. That's so Beatlesy.
It is so Beatlesy. Even like whatever guitar he's using.
Yeah,
so
like the sound, the way he's got it. Oh man, I like the song more the more I listen to it.
So it's very simple but driving. And the same thing's true with Ed's guitar. I'm waiting for it to go up high enough that I can pull up Ed's guitar, because Ed's guitar was interesting again because it was basic, but it was split into two tracks that were completely separate and different each time. Let me get this going here. And then when you get to the chorus, it does this. Which isn't much, but it keeps it going and lets everyone else shine around him at that moment.
Sounds like riding a horse. Like in a Western
And I would say the same thing is true with Tyler on the drums, in that he's not doing anything phenomenal, but at the same time he's doing stuff that it keeps the beat going, keeps the song driving, and also like really kind of lets people shine. So this is the lyrics part. And then when we get to the chorus, the verse part. And then when we get to the chorus.
Now that sounds like a synth.
Now, I had assumed this was electronic drums, which, I have like virtual drums that I play that just trigger sounds. It could be, but this could also just be really like gated and compressed. I could see it possibly being a real set. I mean, it's definitely being played live either way, I think. But my first impression, especially with that snare, was it sounded kind of like digital, but I'm not sure. Tyler, come on the show. We need to answer this question.
But what it really lets shine is the bass.
Yeah, nice.
So Jim is doing some really neat stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the chorus part. This is the verse part.
Sounds like the thing.
But then when we get to the chorus.
Oh man, he's tearing it up.
Oh man.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's some sweetness right there.
So hard to do.
Yeah, you hear. It's interesting because this is very like Beatles-y power pop rock, but there's definitely some jazz influence in here.
Oh heck yeah!
And then we get to the bridge. Oh wait, hold on. Bridge. No, that's not the bridge. Bridge is here. Sorry.
I'm surprised at how clipped that sounds.
That's crazy good.
Yeah. Wow.
His work on
he's all over the board.
He is so far into the background that when I made my mix, I'm like, no, we need to have him.
I'm glad you highlighted that because I did not hear him walking that much when I was listening to the song as a whole. That's really interesting.
No, that's so interesting.
Now it's interesting. Aaron, you said it. Stefan, you also said that the accordion. There was no accordion on the song. It is a keyboard with an accordion sound.
Oh, I see. We have the president of the Pedantic Society here with us. Oh, it's actually the Pedantic Association.
Well, Kevin can't play the accordion, but the reason this is important is that in concert he will do this part, but he will do it like he is.
Yeah, I do the same. I
the
aspire
keys.
to be an accordion player, but I'm not there yet.
I know. I have an accordion upstairs, but I can't. It's too big for me.
They're bulky.
This one's huge.
The full size ones are like huge.
Oh, it's huge. I'm like, I just can't.
Maybe we'll start off with squeeze boxes.
Squeeze box, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Kevin's keyboard playing is very basic again.
Isn't that so funny how it sounds just like a carnival?
It is, yeah. Which, we all know that politics are a circus.
Ooh,
so.
That's what I like the least in the song.
It's right on.
But it really brings out the piano, which is, when I did my mix, I put the piano
work is
right up front.
Incredible on this, yeah.
I think if you cut out that accordion sound, it'd be better. There it is. Piano Man.
So he just does basic, simple hits during that verse. But later on during... And then when it comes back later on, again to the bridge...
Yeah, there he goes. Tasteful. Oh man, that sounds like
Schroeder. Reminds me of Peanuts.
Oh my lord.
Jeez. I want to be like Kevin when I grow up.
I know.
That sounds like Vince Guaraldi. That sounds like
Yeah.
that's really good. That sounds like the Peanuts piano, you know?
Yeah.
Nice.
Like his piano playing on this is so
really
gorgeous. And it's the funny thing is like this is a happy, upbeat song.
Mostly.
But you have these mournful background notes.
That's totally programmatic. That sounds like Glenn in there. And then we go like Vince Guaraldi. That's really cool.
That is crazy.
Like, and then the one thing I didn't expect in here, but if you take it out, it totally messes with the feel of the song, is the tambourine.
Yeah, I believe that. Auxiliary percussion is
Go Tyler.
underappreciated.
Agreed.
The unsung heroes. They're the
Especially
gaffers.
since none of my percussionists showed up for Tab Band tonight. So it was really weird.
Oh no.
We are calling you out.
For shame.
But yeah, like when I took it out of the mix, it really slows the song down. Those tambourines pick it up at those important moments, especially during the verse, when it can kind of slow down. If you don't have that in there, it really messes with it. So I will probably, I mean, right now I'm doing a college level course. And so I'm not going to have a ton of time to myself and people. If we end up having a couple of weeks where we don't have any released episodes, it's because I am doing a ton of work, and not able to edit and record. So I apologize in advance for that, but I will come back and re-edit this because this song is so much fun in the edit.
Well, why don't we try and make some custom mixes with these tracks, and we can release that as a little mini episode if we have a hole in the schedule.
I will put that into our Google Docs, and you guys can play around with it as you would love to. And by the way, I want to point out the electric guitar isn't just a regular electric guitar that Steven's playing. Even though it's kind of a simple sound, he's playing a 12-string.
Really?
12-string electric.
Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's definitely unusual.
So yeah, I will put all those into the Google Docs, all 11. And you can play around with them. Audacity was really simple in terms of like playing around with it and just editing, and GarageBand, of course. And so, yeah, if you guys send me those, I'll put those up if we end up having a week out where you guys can just kind of mix it as you would like. And then maybe we can have people choose.
That is so cool.
Like
Yes, I love it.
Little contest.
You're gonna like
little
my
contest.
Okay, I've gone over all of that. Betsy, I've left you and Stefan in the lurch at this point.
Yeah, please. I'm going to mute myself.
What would you guys like to add in musically before we get into the lyrics?
I think you covered it pretty well. Music-wise. Yeah, I thought I heard the accordion in there too, like an actual accordion. I didn't recognize the tambourine at all.
Yeah, me too.
Be interesting to see like what it was like without it. But yeah, this song was a lot more layered musically than I thought, and which is true to Barenaked Ladies and jives with the lyrics as well, which are also very layered. So.
Yeah.
I didn't know there were 3 strings. And
No,
I'm glad
me
they left the
neither. There was
accordion out.
so much going on that I did wow, I didn't even realize.
Means
Well, yeah.
yeah.
Who would like to hear it without the tambourine?
Me.
All right, I have isolated out, gotten rid of the tambourine. Here's what happens to the verses when you do that. As you can see, I did not take anything else out of that song. The tambourine was the only thing I took out, and that's how big of a change it was.
It's amazing.
That is crazy.
Can you add it back in?
Please.
I can add it back in. Adds in that little bit of high pitch.
You know what I think it is?
Motion.
It sounds like that set, whether it's digital triggers or an analog kit. The cymbals are pretty like heavy and big. They're pretty like low pitched. So I think you're losing some of that. So adding that high pitched tambourine to keep the 8th notes is really helping you feel the up tempo.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's huge. It's amazing what that little bit.
It's
can
like
do.
Christopher Walken says, you got to have more cowbell.
Dang right.
We know you listen to come on the show.
We know you listen.
Bruce
Please
Dickinson.
come on the show.
I put my pants on the same as you guys. Well,
Then I
like,
make gold
we
records.
once did that sketch for a talent show. The teachers did it for a talent show at school, and my friend Brian, the English teacher, wore the same shirt. I swear to God. And it was up, and he played the cowbell. And when he retired a few years ago, my concert band, I bought a piece called More Cowbell, which has Oyo Komava, Don't Fear the Reaper,
nice.
all of the things.
Oh, yeah,
and he
cowbell
played
classics.
in the same outfit with the cowbell. So he joined the band. So, yeah.
That's excellent.
Bruce Dickinson. Best sketch ever.
Oh, I love it.
Are there any other pieces that you want to hear the song without?
I wonder what would happen if you took that accordion keyboard out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stefan was saying he kind of thinks it would be better without.
Because I don't like it.
I can hear what you're saying, Stefan. This is what happens when you take it out. Hold on, let me put the tambourine back in.
If we replace it with a piano, then that'd be great. But I don't know.
And then I'm gonna take out the accordion and stop my screen share.
Just out of curiosity.
Let me see.
I have to say,
it's on the
as
keyboard,
you're like
sorry.
adding and subtracting things from the song, not to get to the lyrics too soon, but this is very like if you were to add or subtract like a politician or a political party. It's like doesn't
If you had some sort of say,
something's wrong.
If I had that power.
Tinkering with the world.
All right, so here's that part, Stefan, without the accordion.
Let's hear it. It sounds great.
That's amazing.
I like it better already.
I like the Emperor's New Song a lot.
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna take something. I'm gonna bump it up.
Tracy, we can't hear a darn thing. Just so you know.
Yeah, so bump away.
Oh, is it playing? I did not know.
It's missing without that there. However, if you bump up the strings,
I think everything was missing.
Dude, we're not hearing anything.
I know, not hearing anything.
Unless you were playing a cover of 4 minutes and 33 seconds by John Cage, then we did not hear it.
Let me try that again. What? Why can't you guys hear? I
say 433. Do you say 433, Heidi?
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Or it's definitely not 12
Let's see if
radios.
you guys can hear it now.
Or 14 radios or whatever it was.
Okay, there, you can hear that.
Hearts are one.
You can hear the accent.
How However, if I add the strings in higher,
Yeah, that fills that space. That's kind of nice, actually. That's kind of nice. I think Stefan might be onto something here. I'm not sure that it's because I don't like the accordion. I think it's because I just like hearing the strings more. Like, it's a gorgeous part.
Absolutely.
But, you can only have so much
Stefan's
space.
mix right there. You can post it for me.
Okay, there we go. Boom, that was easy. Stefan's mix done. Take out the accordion, boost up the strings.
Yep.
Okay, boom.
Those
There we
strings
go.
are amazing.
Those strings are, they're really beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I always love hearing real strings in rock music. There's something so beautiful about it.
For me, that makes a
Give
band.
me ELO anytime.
Strings and brass for me make a band.
Yep. That's called an orchestra.
Well, that's why I like them.
Woodwind, percussion.
Yeah, woodwinds. Do you really need them? Nah.
I think the only thing that we haven't listened to separately, and we probably should before we get into the lyrics, is we should probably listen to Steven by himself.
Ooh.
Oh, the lead vocals, yeah.
Rule the world with love. Hearts are
So he double layers
one.
himself here.
Empires fall in love with love.
Okay, I got it.
Love will
I cracked the code.
conquer all
I cracked the
for
code.
one.
We were just hearing double tracking the entire time. The harmonies are double tracked too.
Love.
That's what that phase effect is, because he's close enough in pitch and in vibrato that it almost sounds like an effect more than him doubling himself in certain harmonies. So that's good to be that spot on, man. But you know what? You just gave me kind of mild PTSD, Tracy, because anytime I hear, as a vocalist, anytime I hear my vocal take played back on a song without any effects or anything, I'm like, no, stop, please turn it off, please stop, make it stop. It's such a nightmare. I'm like, can you add enough reverb that it sounds like I'm trapped down the bottom of a well, please?
Too much reverb.
But Steven sounds really gorgeous by
great.
himself. Like, I could just listen to him.
Absolutely. I concur with that
So
statement.
speaking of just listening to him, why don't we talk about what the song's about? Now, I'm going to interrupt before we even begin it. If there is anyone that definitively knows, because they did their research this week, about what this song is about, I want you to...
Oh, I don't cheat. I'm not going to Google.
I want you to hold off.
What does this mean?
What do people think that this song is about?
I'm going to chime in here. I think it's about ruling the world with love.
Wow.
That's a hot take, Stefan. Stefan, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave?
I know. I am living on the edge, man. I am a tea partier.
Living on the edge.
That's right.
Betsy, how about you?
Oh, well, so this one was a little, I don't know. I have come to learn to try to look into the lyrics of Barenaked Ladies probably more deeply than I should.
Yeah,
so I'm like, this is obviously, at face value political in general. Then I thought there's some kind of culty overtones at some places.
I can hear that, definitely.
And then there's like relationship overtones at other places. So I was kind of struggling, and I didn't put as much research into this as I normally do. So I was struggling to really come up with like a great, insightful kind of analysis. But
it's okay, Betsy. Not everybody can be like me. That's all right.
That's right. That's right.
Not everybody just nail it every time right out of the gate, like Stefan.
I did find a component that you might be talking about, Tracy, later, after a little bit more research, but I'll keep that to myself for now.
Okay, interesting.
Now I'm intrigued.
Secret weapon.
Well,
Secret weapon.
I mean, nothing too, I don't know, mind-blowing to maybe I didn't
curiosity is
find
piqued.
No, but every time I listen to it, I kind of like peeled another layer, which is what I love about piano. So
Like an onion. It's like an ogre.
yes,
You got a lot of layers.
yeah, one of those enjoyable onions, one of those blooming.
I don't know what you mean.
Donkey.
Who doesn't like the parfait?
Donkey.
Well, Aaron, Heidi, any thoughts or guesses?
Like I thought, maybe it was because it was 06 and was it 06? And so we were in the midst of the Iraq War, and was it about Bush? Was it about our sense of imperialism and our want to get involved in all, but I don't know. Like, I just think I'm wrong. And I searched, I dug. I tried to search old interviews about the album. I tried everything. I could not find anything.
It's interesting you say imperialism. It's like when everybody watches Star Wars, they always root for the rebels, but when it's in real life, they always root for the Empire. I don't get it.
Well, how many independent contractors died on the Death Star? I ask you.
That's a
Well,
good point.
they were unionized.
No, listen,
Leia
guys,
or
They filed
Amidala?
grievances.
I hate to say it, but you're all wrong. This song is clearly about Kim Jong-un opening a Plenty of Fish profile.
Real fish. Oh wait. No.
What?
He wants to rule the world with love. He just wants to meet his match online and get married and then launch
Wow.
nuclear weapons.
That
No.
you dug deep for that.
That's-
I would pay to see that movie.
That was up to, yeah,
I
that
would
was
pay
some
to see that movie.
laying some truth bombs here. No, so what I love, I think the ambiguity is what I like about this. So I am curious if someone's sitting on a secret weapon here who actually can definitively say what it is about. But I think that's kind of what, like the first verse is, I don't want to say innocuous, but it still leaves room for interpretation, right? As to exactly what he means by rule the world with love. But once the second verse hits, I need to love you with an iron fist. I need to love you with a secret list. I need to love you till you don't exist. Man,
is it about North Korea? Wait.
Even if Steven weren't singing, I know this were a Steven song. Steven, we know you listen. Please come on the show. Talk about your mood dissonant lyrics. I mean, when I heard Iron Fist and Secret List, I immediately thought about Stalin. But
I thought you were going to go with Marvel.
Well,
that's good too.
Or Schindler.
Could be about Thanos.
It could be about.
I was just going to go with Iron
today.
Fist
I
and
mean,
Secret.
we could make that leap. I think.
I need to love
Secret
you.
Wars,
naked
like he was
on a bear.
preparing for where Marvel is going with their universe between the Infinity Stones and then the secret.
I suspect Heidi is correct. I think because I was assuming this was Barenaked Ladies, or I think I said men. When it was the mid 2000s, right? So like probably a critique of the Bush administration. In particular, secret list could mean like drone strike list, something like that.
Betsy, you have, I think you probably have the same information I do. I'm going to let you reveal.
Oh, here it is.
Well, I don't know if I'm actually going to reveal anything. I'm just going to tell you what I found, but scroll back up here.
Drum roll.
Number.
Magic of editing. There was no distance in this.
Well,
piece.
while we're waiting, did anyone else think of when "Love You Till You Don't Exist" kind of reminded me of that character? Was it Elvira from Tiny Toons, where she would take the animals and love them and hug them and squeeze them until they like?
I will squeeze him. I
desperate
call
to
him
escape.
George.
George, yeah.
I love him and squeeze him. I call him George, which always reminded me of Mice and Men.
Yes.
Mhm. That's exactly what that's a callback to. Thank
No
you,
way.
Heidi.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excellent.
They love to make literary callbacks in Looney Tunes, and that was what
gosh.
that Looney Tunes
Amazing.
callback was
Oh,
about.
I want to go back and rewatch like old cartoons because I feel like there's so much that went over my head when I was a kid.
Oh my gosh,
To watch
so
it
much
appreciate
things
it.
now.
Mickey
Yeah,
Mouse cartoons were dark.
Yeah.
Real dark.
Don
Like,
Coyote.
really violent, really dark, and really fucked up. Like,
oh yeah.
I had no idea.
Roadrunner we talked about a lot last
Roadrunner, yeah,
a
that's
couple
true.
weeks ago. It was like
Yeah.
Heidi, did you find your notes? I mean, Betsy, did you find your notes?
So what I found was on website called hobbylark.com. And I was just kind of Googling, finding just trivia about 2005, 2006. So let's see. On February 23rd, the Slovakia Summit 2005, also known as the Bush-Putin Summit, took place between U.S. President George W. Bush and Russian President Vladimir Putin. Topics of discussion included Russian democracy, the situation in Iran, and North Korean nuclear talks. So there's just kind of elements of it there. I don't think I have a big epiphany like you might have.
Stephen has officially said what this song is about.
He has.
Really?
Yeah.
How the heck did you find it?
I'm that good. Stephen has said that this is specifically about exactly what you guessed it is about. This song is about George Bush Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is about the Iraq War. And this, along with a couple other songs off from this album, once again, this was the first song that was written on this topic for this double album, is about the Iraq War.
Wow.
And his scathing criticism of that war.
I mean, someone mentioned like Orwellian wording, you think of something like Operation Iraqi Freedom, right? Like, we're going to bomb the freedom into you. We're going to love you so much that you won't exist. Yeah, it's definitely pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, supposedly the U.S., and Bush specifically, loved Iraq so much that they went to war with Hussein for them. It had nothing to do with oil or companies, anything to do with the fact that he is connected to the Saudi Arabian oil owning families.
Yeah,
it had to do with the fact that he loved,
like that. Yeah.
it had to do specifically with the fact that he loved the Iraqi people so much that he had to protect them from their own dictator. A
true test is always seeing a person's income prior to being inaugurated and then their income after their presidency.
Yeah, that's always
it's always quite shocking
insight.
And scary.
Yeah.
For
those of you who are way too young for whatever reason to know,
any Zoomers out there in our audience?
Basically, the Iraq War supposedly started because of 9/11. And then it was because of weapons of mass destruction that were never found. And then when they couldn't find the weapons of mass destruction that they supposedly found,
the U.S. is full of them.
Yeah. Then they said that Saddam Hussein had not returned any of his library books in the last 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what did have been, really.
And then they found that he did, and that's when they said that they loved the Iraqi people so much that because he was killing his own people, that's why they had to go in and remove him, because we loved the Iraqi people so
Tracy,
much.
Are you saying that the reason why that we went to war in Iraq, which changed multiple times during that conflict, is not accurate? Are you saying you doubt the government of the United States of America?
So
demonetized.
Disclaimer before we get into our own political views, this is what Steven's saying. Like, there is no doubt in this song when you look at it through this lens about the fact that Steven is saying like that this is a cloud show of shit at this point. And that it's people making excuses left and right for a war that had no rationale, and that they're just making excuses. I hate to get political on this show, but this song specifically is a very political song. And Stephen and Ed have come out very recently with the political stuff that's going on and made their political views known about what they believe about the current discussions and decisions made by the Supreme Court.
Well, if you own gas companies and oil companies, how much oil or gas do you think an aircraft carrier uses on a day-to-day basis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like, they didn't make any money off from this at all.
Tracy, I'm curious, when you had him on for an interview earlier, a lot earlier, years earlier, is that one of the questions you asked him, or did you find it somewhere?
It wasn't. It was somewhere I found it, and unfortunately, it was one of the things that I found so early on that I didn't get my resources and didn't label my resources bad, Tracy.
Citation needed.
Yeah, I do need to go back through at some point and find the citation. However, I did find it from a legitimate source, usually from a book or somewhere else.
I know a guy who knows a guy.
I know a guy who knows it.
Most of my early notes that I didn't list came from a couple of different books, usually the authorized biography or the songbook chronology. Usually it's somewhere in there if I go back and dig. But I want to go line through line with this song, with this understanding. Because
before you do that, can I introduce a fun fact from 2005?
Sure can.
Made me chuckle. So in 2005, just as a piece of trivia, the cardboard box was inducted to the National Toy Hall of Fame. It has nothing to do with the song, but I just it's hilarious.
The unbelievable thing about that is not that they inducted the cardboard box into the Toy Hall of Fame. It's that they didn't do it in the year 2021.
No kidding.
I bet the Oval Office was full of them.
Oh my gosh.
And before we go too deep into politics, I do want to point out this could be generalized to all wars. Clinton also had a war with Iraq. You could generalize this to the any war where people say that they did it for the love of God, that they did it for the love of this or for the love of that. They did it to protect these peoples. Wars are often fought as that with the motivator of supposedly for love, when often it is for power.
Cherchez la monnaie.
Thus, the line that Stephen puts in there, love and war are one.
Yeah, that's the last line. Yeah.
Well, that's again brings it back to Orwell, like love and war and peace and love and hate, and they're all just, definitely.
And Stephen is definitely going for the double meaning on that with the word one, that love is something that you win from someone, but it is also, and war is as well, something that you win. But they are also one. They are one and the same thing.
Well, I'll share love and war.
Yeah. And so I do want to go further into the lyrics, but that was just the general overall what Stephen has said this song is about.
Deep as always. Deep cuts.
Let's look at the first.
Deep Cuts by Jack Handy.
Let's look at the first verse. It couldn't happen to a better man. The sarcasm. Oh my gosh, the sarcasm.
Yeah, speaking of politics, that's always, I want to congratulate my gracious opponent. Yeah, right.
He is a better man.
This war couldn't happen with a better plan. It wouldn't happen with a better plan. Like, our plan was the best. It was the
nice
best
to have had a plan.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting.
I really like the next line. While we were napping, someone else began to rule the world with love. Before we even had a chance, because we weren't paying attention, someone else decided to do it first. We relaxed too much.
Wasn't that Dick Cheney? Good old Dick. Who doesn't like a little bit of Dick? Cheney.
I could do without him personally.
You don't like Dick?
I can't say I do.
Oh my gosh.
No,
You're
there's
off the
nothing
rails
wrong.
again,
Welcome
friend.
to Barenaked ABC's After Dark.
There's nothing wrong with liking Dick. With that being said...
Oh, I disagree. I think if you like Dick, you got to re-examine your political alignment.
And that was the last episode of Barenaked.
Are we talking about Nixon or Cheney? Either way.
No, wait. I have a rainbow pin. That makes it all better.
So it didn't happen to us overnight. Like, I love the fact that, like, ruling with love is something that political parties have been doing for a long time. Like politicians, lobbyists have been saying that their side of the whatever argument it is from the side of compassion.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah. Not only that, Tracy, but in specifically referencing the Iraqi War, I believe it was the Project for a New American Century. There was like this like super PAC on the right that was literally, there were papers published years later where they were like basically saying, oh yes, we can use this. Let's use this to get into Iraq. So it's more or less Illuminati confirmed.
But it was like and it's not just that war. I don't want to be political. Both sides do this. They use the word love or compassion.
Do it for the children. If I hear one more time, no, I mean, I did it all for the children.
I believe the children.
And even like Nancy Pelosi does that all the time. It's about the children.
Oh yeah, well she went and read a poem. They would do something.
So you're so right. Everybody does it. That's why I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing: is children can't raise children.
So true.
Children can't rule children. That's the way it is.
That just brings me to my next line.
You're listening to our edgy political podcast.
Final election. Are you really serious? Do you really think that those candidates are the best America has to offer for presidency? You really think they're the best?
If so, we are in a really, really
deep
sad.
shit is what we're in.
I'd invade.
I mean, Tom Hanks is still alive, people.
Well, he's a Rothschild, isn't he?
It brings me to that brings me to my favorite line of this entire song. Just because it happened doesn't mean it's right.
Well, it's the antithesis of might makes right? Like or history is written by the victors, you know.
Yeah, people rationalizing their choices and then saying that it has to be that way. No, just because something happened doesn't mean the fact that it was okay.
Well, it's really interesting. So this is your bailiwick here. I'm stepping into your pool, Tracy. But like, there's a psychological effect. Maybe you can name it for me. I don't recall the name, but it's like the justification effect or something. It's the idea that we tell ourselves stories in retrospect to try and make sense of the world. So that's why, like, when something bad happens to someone, a lot of people, their first reaction, even subconsciously, is like, oh, they must have done something bad to deserve that or whatever. Even though that's not the case. And bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people all the time.
I think we have a bad case of Stockholm syndrome.
Mm-hmm. It's called assimilation. Is the way our brain works, in that we try to assimilate the world into our understanding of what the world
resist the Borg. I do not want to be assimilated.
Well, it's too bad, Stefan. They're going to rule you with love.
In that case, that's okay. I must have done something. Something to deserve that.
Sounds downright pleasant.
As long as it's with love, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm over here. I don't see the people getting killed.
Well, okay, so not to be too coy or too cheeky, but there is a real political point to be made here, because I would say some political philosophies like libertarianism would say that any attempt to control someone is a form of violence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, or ultimately is backed up by violence, and that's how it takes effect. So, like, in a way, ruling the world with love is an impossibility, right? Because by ruling the world, you're imposing your will upon it. You are inflicting some kind of violence, whether it's philosophical or otherwise, upon people doing that.
So I'm going to share my political.
Please do.
Here is freedom is the ability to make your own choices in a way. However, you have to be able to have those options available to make those choices.
Right. Oh yeah, you're free to choose
stems down to Roe versus
A or
Wade,
B.
because people need to be able to choose that or not choose that, and that's true freedom. Other than somebody removing that choice or that option from particular people, they're no longer free at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, even with the Patriot Act that was established after 9/11, I mean, it went directly against everything that we had tried to fight against the British about, is being able to change the government if we so desire. But now he can't. And if you take a look at the time when Martin Luther King was preaching and speaking, and there were marches, they could actually change the world, and people were afraid of outcomes, and they would change policies based off that. Look how things have changed. Now, no song, no protest, nothing like that will ever make a difference, because now you're immediately labeled as that's right, a terrorist. So it doesn't have any effect. It has to be backed up with action now, and people are so unable to do that because there's too much information. People are on podcasts for their time.
It's like they give their opinions about songs and stuff.
I know, right? No, that's my viewpoint. You're welcome to yours. I hear crickets in the background.
We just didn't. Actually, I did have a question for you, Tracy. Yes. Is there a trouble with Tracy for this song?
No. I don't have a I would say that I would agree with Stefan. As much as I like Kevin, the trouble with Tracy would be the accordion, the keyboard with the false just accordion.
Bringing those strings up so you can hear them better. They're so nice, Yeah.
It's hiding the light under a basket.
I do want to highlight the especially the chorus of this song. Whether you like it or love or hate it.
Whether you like it or you really like it.
You can like it or you like it even more.
We're going to rule you with love, so you can only say that you love our podcast. Would you rate our podcast 5 stars, or would you rate it 5 stars?
Like the fish or the fish?
You can have the salmon or the cod. What are you having?
You know, the soup of the day and the soup du jour.
There's a bunch of double meanings in this chorus. Like they're playing around with words. I love it when BNL does this. Hearts are one, and the word here that they use is WON, but of course ONE is the double meaning that they're kind of playing around with on that one. Then we get to the second line, which is actually 2 separate lines in the liner notes. They actually separate things out with a hyphen and a backslash. So the next line by itself is Empires Fall. That's it. It's not Empires Fall in Love with Love. It's Empires Fall is the next line. But they also mix that with that double meaning of Empires Fall in Love with Love. Which is true. Like that idea of falling in love with love, and that empires use that to support themselves and drive themselves and support their motivations. I really like that they're using that double meaning there.
Viva la Rebellion.
Love will conquer all for one. Once again, you can split that into 2 different separate sentences if you want. Love will conquer all, which is a very common saying, and then all for one, or love will conquer all for one.
Okay.
All for one and one for all.
Heidi, get out of my head. I was thinking it. I was thinking the Three Musketeers.
I know, me too.
So
Brian Adams, we do it.
Oh my God.
Here's a question. We've already brought up 1984 several times in this discussion. There's clearly like double speak going on here. Given that we know definitely that Ed and Steven are fans of that kind of fiction, do you think there is a Brazil reference at the end there? Because Love Conquers All was what Terry Gilliam jokingly named the horrible edit that the studio did of his film Brazil, where they tried to force a happy ending. He jokingly refers to it as the Love Conquers All version of the film. So I wonder, because that film, Brazil, was originally titled 1984 and a half. So I wonder.
Shoot, I'll be right back. I gotta go put the ducks away.
Is that code for something?
Hutch. No, I gotta close the duck hutch.
That's
duck?
definitely some sort of code.
Well, you guys keep talking.
Okay.
I had no idea you had that touch, Heidi. I'm just like picturing you herding ducks now.
The
Well,
actual
they put
line.
themselves to bed. It's really funny. They put themselves
I've
in.
seen
I just
chickens
have
do
to
that.
close it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Go
yeah.
get your ducks in a row, Heidi.
Oh, Betsy. We waited this long for Betsy to win the podcast just like
Hey.
that.
There it is.
Oh, congrats.
I'm going to bed.
The actual line, the actual correct labeling of this line is "Love will conquer all for one," which going with the idea that governments use the word love to gain power. Love will conquer everyone for the use of one person or one
Love
system.
as defined by God is what they have in there.
Exactly, because that brings us back to the bridge, which is love as defined by whom, and then later on, love as defined by God.
Mm-hmm.
Which we all know that often.
Oh, God's on our side, Tracy. Definitely our side, and none of the other countries that we battle against, and not any other
that
people.
Makes me feel good.
Exactly. God, our God, not your God. Our God. Our God defines love.
Our God is an awesome God. No, it's a song.
I know it is. I know it is.
You remember that one? Anyway,
That's a good song.
Too many church songs in my head.
Yeah.
So then the next line is one for all is fair in love and war, but can be broken up. That line can be broken apart in so many different ways. One for all, as in, like, once again, the Bryan Adams song, but also just the old phrase, like one for all for one, which follows up the line before that of all for one. But all for one is fair. All is fair in love and war. So he's playing around with a lot of these terms, but at the same time, pretty much making his political decisions known.
Is he? I mean, we had to break down the song this deep in order to friggin' figure it out. How really known is he making these ideas?
Well, that's the thing, is he's like, if you read the liner notes and you break down the sentences, he's letting you know what he thinks about this, but because of the way that the song is written, it can be read in several different ways. Mm-hmm. If you read the liner notes, hearts are won, as in you win them. Empires fall. In love with love. Love will conquer all for one. One for all is fair in love and war. War and love and war are one.
They're strung together, but they're still overlapping, and they're all kind of cliches, so you can kind of have multiple interpretations. Yeah,
exactly. Which is what I love about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that proves my point that he's not clear at all. But
I think that
whoever's listening, I guess it's clear to that person who's listening, right?
Well, I think that's intentional. Like he does that. He puts it in there the way that he wants to put it in there, but he does it vaguely enough that people could misinterpret and read it the way that they want to read it.
Maybe he could do a live version where he says Iraq was won with love.
Live from home. He'll probably do it.
They're a better country for it.
Oh man, come on.
I do want to come to the third verse where no one ever discusses. How could it happen when we couldn't lose?
Now we're slapping makeup on the roofs.
Yeah, which I think is a really good point, because even though we won the Iraq War, it was a loss. Same thing with Vietnam.
It was a Pyrrhic victory, yeah.
And, we were there we're only going in to go in there, get rid of Saddam, and then we're out. Like, that's the whole point. Then we're there for 30 years. Like, what is said that we're there to do is never what we're there to do. And how could it happen that we can't lose when we lose? And then we're slapping makeup on the bruise. Like, we're trying to make it look prettier than it really is.
It just goes to show that we're not there for that reason.
Exactly.
No balls into something else.
I mean, how large is Iraq in compared to any state in America? How big is it? You know, I mean, you can't find a dude. Really? I mean, he's probably tweeting.
I don't think they had Twitter back then.
I'm just
Like,
this is
America.
horrible, but
They're
I'm
all
just
for their dummies.
imagining Saddam making TikToks from his bunker, doing silly dances.
So the other thing I want to discuss and I want to bring up is the other version of the song, which was the live version of the song. So for this album, they did a live recording of all the songs on the first part of the album, on the Barenaked Ladies Are Me, at Glen Gold Theater. And I don't know if you guys heard the original version. It's a very different mix. It's acoustic, which I always love acoustic more. But did you guys have a chance to listen to that version?
I did not.
All right. I got a number of people that said I did not. So
I don't listen to nothing.
Mona said he didn't either. Here, Mona.
It didn't happen to us overnight. 'Cause it happened doesn't mean it's right. To our embarrassment, we lost the fight to rule the world with love. Hearts are one. Empires fall in love with love.
So we'll stop it there.
That
gives
I
you
liked it better until they
example.
still included that keyboard accordion.
They did.
What the heck?
And they cut out the strings because they couldn't have the strings live.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I actually do like it quite a lot, but I miss those strings and I miss those like super thick harmonies.
Yeah, me too. I like it, but not as much as the studio version.
Yeah, I like the wall.
The other version.
Betsy, what about you?
Yeah, no, I like the studio version a lot better, and it's a little muddy. Maybe that was the way it was recorded or something. It sounded a little muddy, but yeah.
I think I might have also been playing through my computer through the Zoom.
That could have been multiple conduits. Yeah.
I see.
Yep.
This is my new favorite hoodie, by the way.
Nice.
I wear it all the time.
Fun? The Steven, yeah. Those are so comfortable.
So comfy.
So comfy. I need another one.
I love it. I wear it whenever I can, not during the summer.
It's very snuggly.
It's chilly outside, so I always keep it on hand to go check the ducks.
Yep.
Who won't leave the pond? Silly.
Speaking of getting our ducks in a row, why don't we get our ducks in a row and start counting them and talk about how much we like this song? Or
are we rating
don't.
this for ducks? How many ducks?
Ooh. I was trying to come up with a good rating, and I mean, I'll be honest that the rating that I came up with is probably not.
I know we're downhill without Jeff and figuring out the rating.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff, we know you listen to the show. Please come back.
What about WMDs?
Well, that was
WMD.
Mine was Mass Graves, so I mean, I like yours better.
I kind of like WMDs, then I'm not so depressed.
Yeah,
or
let's keep
Iron
it
Fist.
Let's keep it light.
Somewhat light. Explosive.
Mass Graves is a little much, huh?
I think your rating is non-existent. That just dropped.
Yep.
It sounded better on TV.
Yeah, that was a rock in the pond right there. Big kerplunk.
So,
That scared the ducks.
why don't we go with you, Heidi? You've had a little time to think about. How many WMDs do you give this song?
I really like the song. There are so many layers to the song. It's complicated. it's open to a variety of interpretations, even if we have an answer from Steven. Like, you can take it a lot of ways. And again, it's one of those light sounding songs that's very dark. Like, there's so many layers. I am going to give this a 4.3 WMDs.
Whoa.
4.3.
Yeah.
What is a WMD?
I think the amount of musicianship in this song warrants that. The amount of layering, the amount, like, just incredible musicianship in this.
Okay. Why don't we go over to Stefan?
What's a WMD? Am I just not knowing it?
It stands for warm music delivery.
Yes, right.
Oh, weapons of mass destruction?
Warm maple donuts.
Oh, I like donuts.
How many maple
Definitely vote for donuts.
donuts?
All right, so me.
How many warm mature donuts do you give this song?
Or
War machine donuts. Okay, I like. Well, I thought it was great, and then that chorus kicked in with the accordion. I'm like, what the hell? So, and then, Aaron's like, oh, I'm going to rank it up because of the strings. Oh, I'm going to rank it up because of this. I'm like, I'm going to rank it down because they have those strings, and then they butchered it with a fucking accordion. So,
it's fair point.
I mean, I just want to get up on stage if they play this and like Will Smith them, like, you keep that accordion out of your mouth.
You're gonna be
right
like
now.
Worf when he takes Geordie's lute in the Robin Hood episode and smashes it against the stone.
Oh my God, I forgot
Absolutely. So
I had to pull out a Star Trek reference.
I would have to say it loses points for me because the potential and what is included there and has been snuffed underneath the basket, that makes me mad. Because I like that rendition where you cut out the accordion keyboard and like upped the strings. I thought that was good. Because the strings, when you played them separately, amazing. Hello. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I think it's because we won't be able to play this live because we don't have strings. So let's have a stupid keyboard. So, Casio, anyone? Casio. And and then like the drum set is like, it's like the Casio thing that I had as a kid. Oh my God. It sounded like, I don't know. Was that real? Was the drums real? Were the drums real?
I put my money on electronic drums being played in real time, but triggering samples. But it could just be really, really affected acoustic drums. Sometimes people put like a bunch of compression and then like gated reverb on. You get like the 80s Phil Collins sound, and it sounds very synthy.
Gotcha. Well, we're putting Susu Studio on the shelf here for a second. Let's I'm torn. I was like, yeah, it's political. Yeah, can it be taken in many ways? Yeah, can. Is it straightforward for me? No, it's not. I love Tears for Fears. Everybody Wants to Rule the World is one of my favorite songs.
Great song.
So I just, why'd you have to pick me? Go second. I was thinking about this. Oh my gosh. Okay, vote, Stefan. I can do this. Just get past the accordion. Gosh, I can't do it.
Wipe the accordion from your mind.
Okay, wipe the accordion.
The
accordion is my butt. I gotta wipe the accordion off my butt. Okay, got it. Yeah, Heidi's confused about that one. I am too. So, okay, I'm going to go with. I'm just going to go with a 3. I think it's above average. I think the music is amazing, and the harmonies are amazing. The layering is absolutely great, and I think they like just kind of ruined it in that fashion for me. I thought it could have been better, and that's why I'm going to vote 3.
All right,
because I can't decide. Sorry, guys.
I missed the discount.
Don't be sorry. It's your opinion, man. We want to hear your opinion.
You don't even know my opinion.
What is my opinion?
Betsy, what's your opinion?
My opinion is that this is definitely on my playlist, as is the whole record and the record after. And so this is kind of everything I look for when I want a Barenaked Ladies song. It's pretty close to perfect. I like the vagueness, and at the same time, I also kind of wanted a little more, directness. But I do like kind of peeling the layers on this one. So I think I'll give it a 4.8 WMDs.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
And I love
I'm going to be the hater of today's session.
Aaron, well, I mean, we still haven't heard from Aaron.
Well, accordion to Stefan.
Oh.
This song could be a lot better, but I like it quite a bit. When I was first evaluating it, purely judging it on the music, I knew it was going to be on my best of playlist. So I was thinking 4.1, 4.2. But when it came down to do the lyrical analysis with the great dissonance between the bouncy feel of the song, which even when it's in minor, it doesn't exactly sound like Soviet Russia. Which, I said it, Tracy, I'm going to have to do it now. In Soviet Russia, song analyze you. But sorry, it had to be done. I took one for the team there. But yeah, the lyrical content and the kind of classic Page, like quasi-sinister vibes off of a very pretty sounding song. I always love that. That's right up my alley. And then here's the thing. You know me, I try not to be like, I don't try to give out a lot of fives. I try to be, hold it back. I'm wondering if it's just having heard the individual tracks that I can appreciate the musicianship that much more. But like while you were playing, just Jim's bass line or just Kevin's piano, I was really, really impressed. And it really made me appreciate the song even more. So I don't know, maybe put an asterisk next to it because I could go either way. I think I'm somewhere between Betsy and Heidi, and I'm going to go all the way up to 4.5 WMDs out of 5 for Rule the World with Love. It's really a great song.
Ooh.
Definitely going on my playlist. And it's up there for me.
All right.
It's a good song. I'd have it on my playlist. You said great dissidence, right? Is that what you said? I can't get that out of my mind. That's pretty freaking
Dissidence or dissonance?
Great dissidence.
I think there's a lot of dissonance in this song, which could cause a dissidence.
Yes. That's what it should be. We should be voting on dissidence. How many great dissidents would you rank this?
Well, I mean, it's not as direct as Fun and Games. As a matter of fact, I was like, part of me was thinking like, why was this put on the first album instead of Fun and Games? And next week's song, Running Out of Ink. I honestly was shocked. I expected this song to be more on the second album. But I do really like it, especially when I break it down and figured out how exactly deep and how much detail they had in this song. The vague attack makes it a little bit lower than Fun and Games in my book, but I really do love this song. While you guys were talking, I was listening, but I was also kind of looking up and down my list, and I think when I kind of finally came to it, and I've already colored it yellow because I was like, I gotta think about it more. I'm going with a 4.64.
Very nice.
Ooh,
very nice. No haterade on that end tonight.
No, drinking the Loverade.
I really enjoy this song. I really do. I mean, I honestly think that Stefan thought that they were running out of ink, but we'll see next week if he thinks that after he listens to the song Running Out of Ink.
It's like, it destroyed me to hear those strings. It destroyed me. I can't get over it.
What might have been.
Oh my Lord. It was
we have Stefan's mix and
perfection.
Stefan's mix is perfection, according to Stefan.
Well, in my opinion, it's great.
In my opinion. It's got a great beat, but you just can't dance to it.
I'm white. I can dance to anything.
He can dance.
You can dance if you want to. You can leave your friends behind.
That's where I was trying to go, but
If they don't dance, they're no friends of
They're
mine.
no friends of mine.
I went in a different direction, and I instantly regret saying
Now
anything.
Betsy's going do 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 do.
She's listening to that song right now.
It's in my head.
Classic.
I do want to share one more thing with you guys this week, which is the appearance for this week. It really is a fun appearance. So I'm hoping I did this right so you guys can actually hear it. Last week we were talking a little bit about Sean Cullen and about Corky and the Juice Pigs. This week also is a Ships and Dips appearance featuring Sean Cullen. But it's just Sean and Ed, and the back and forth between the two of them. I'm not going to play all of it, but
Yes, you are. Do it.
It's a 3-minute
I
clip,
can
but it's
watch
hilarious.
it in my spare time. It's
What's the matter, Ed?
Nothing.
Well, it doesn't look like nothing.
Just leave it, Sean.
What's the matter?
Well, when we were touring in '89, you were an ultra dick to me, Sean. So just leave it.
But I can't leave it. I like to think you're my friend.
Was I your friend when you shat in my mouth while I slept on the bus? To Wetaskiwin, Alberta? Sean?
Yeah, well, I like to call it Wetaskiwin.
And we have t-shirts for the concert that says it tastes like victory.
Oh, wow.
Saltiest I've ever heard Ed. Holy shit.
I know. I've never heard him swear like that. Wow.
Yeah, that was raunchy.
It was like raunchy.
Does he sip a pina colada with that mouth?
Oh, man.
Well played, Stefan. Well played.
Well played. Well, y'all, I got to put my ducks to bed. So.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
So
get your
they
ducks
put
in a row.
themselves to bed. What excuse you got now?
Guys, I just
I
remembered.
have 5 ducks.
I got to put my ducks to bed.
I have 5 ducks and 2 pigs and no more chickens because those chickens went bye-bye to chicken heaven the other
So
day.
Heidi and all
I just got
others.
a text from my ducks.
Yeah, Heidi, thanks for joining us. This was great to have you here with us tonight.
Oh.
And Betsy,
you mean
just so
Betsy?
you know, the head of the PR department
It's like, I'm here every week. What the
and
hell?
HR
You
is
weren't here.
Aaron.
That one week.
So any complaints that you have about a harassment would go to Aaron.
What?
Go to HR, please.
Okay. It'd be more amusements and speculations instead
harassment.
of complaints, but yeah.
You know, we're
Oh my God.
That's good to know.
Betsy, thank you so much for joining us. It was great to have you.
Thank you, Betsy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's not as much of a guy
Well,
town
this
when
is-
you're here.
this is a gender neutral podcast, so it's his harassment or harassment. You can have they harassment
Lots of
and other things as well.
duck
You can kiss
assment.
my
So-
assment.
Just so that
There's too
don't
much
feel
assment
offended
going around
for anybody
right
out there.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh.
All right, y'all. It's been
On that note,
it's
get your
been
ducks in a row,
good.
everyone.
Take care of your
We'll
ducks.
see you next week.
Good night, everybody. On Hee Haw.
I think we better cut. I think we better sign off because we're running out of ink.
I see what you
Ooh,
did
you
there.
had to get it
Good
in there.
night.
Well played, clerks. Well played.
Yeah.
Thanks, that was fun. Don't forget, no regrets, except maybe one.
To celebrate joining Pantheon Podcasts, Rock Camp, the podcast, the official podcast of Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, is giving away a guitar signed by Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater, Marty Friedman, formerly of Megadeth, and legendary shredder Zakk Wylde, plus our rockstar counselors like Vinny Appice, Monty Pittman, and more. To enter to win, simply follow, rate, and review our podcast on your preferred platform, and that's all you have to do. For more information, go to rockcamp.com/podcast.